Rachel, hi. I'm so glad that you're here. Rachel Baer, thank you so much for coming. And you've been on my show before, and last time when you were leaving, you kind of alluded to something very exciting that was going to happen. And that's something that's very exciting already did happen, and you were on the paper today. Look at that. So I'll hold it up right here, right in front of me. So, Rachel, you have quite a story to tell me now about the Grace Trail. And now this is part of a destination, I think, for us in East Lyme. So, Rachel Baer, you do a yoga class. You're a yoga instructor, resident of East Lyme. And now you have kind of stretched your wings a little bit, increased your footprint, so to speak, and you've developed a trail for all of us.
Yes, that's right. Actually, the trail was the original Grace Trail is in Plymouth, Massachusetts, created by Anne Jolles. And I approached her after I read her book about the Grace Trail, Finding Your Footing. And that I've actually donated a couple of copies of the book to East Lyme Library, which will be available in a few days. It takes them a few days to process it. Or you can buy it online on Anne's website or wherever you usually buy your books.
Well, I totally want to read that. And what I like about it, I looked up about Anne Jolles, is that how you
That's
say
right.
her last name? That we are all courageous survivors of life. And don't you feel that now, especially with COVID?
Oh, most definitely.
It's just been such a rough, I don't know,
It
10 months,
has,
11
yeah.
months, right?
And originally the trail was going to be put in place several months ago now. It was kind of frustrating with delays, for various reasons. But actually I think that it's trusting the universe, and I believe that the trail has come to East Lyme at just the right moment.
Nice. Well, right before Thanksgiving, and I think that's a lot
right.
of what we can all be thankful for.
And right in the middle of a pandemic too.
Oh my gosh, the pandemic, yeah, just really totally underscores, I think, the impact of our lives. I mean, nothing is normal. Like Mary Jane and I were just talking about what are we doing for Thanksgiving, and what you would normally do is invite people who are outside of your family to probably join you, and this time it's just my little nucleus.
That's right. Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So I wanted to read this. This is from Anne, and she's must be really an interesting. I mean, you're an interesting, amazing person too. But
Thank you.
But she would be the kind of person that you'd want to spend time with. Every time you choose to walk forward with curiosity, compassion, and courage on this trail, specifically talking about the Grace Trail, you are taking 5 steps towards creating possibilities in your life. I like to think of it as hanging your hope out there on the horizon and walking towards it every day. That helps everyone around you. That's just so profound.
It is, yeah. Very simple concept, and yet, like you say, so profound.
Right. And here, why don't you talk a little bit? I know Erica Moser contacted you, and just hold that up in front of you so that people on the screen can see it. And just right in front of you, like on your chest.
Like this?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you can see, and what you have in front of you is another member of our community who's walking with their dog. And I think, did you tell me it's like a 0.8 mile walk, or
It is.
like a stroll? And the nice thing to me is that you can go with your dog.
You can, which opens it up to so many more people. And if you have a dog, you have to walk it. So it's a great family activity, or it's a great one-on-one with your dog activity, where you can meditate a little around the trail. And often when you're walking outside, it's the time for reflection, and the Grace Trail is a perfect opportunity for this.
Absolutely. And then there's a picture of you in the lower part of the paper, and then you're looking at one of the signs. Is that I haven't had a chance to get down there yet to see it, because it was just installed this last week,
That
right?
is the main sign, the welcome, the map sign that explains about the Grace Trail, what it is, and gives guidelines on how to walk it.
Okay. Can I see again?
Of course.
And my friend Joanne Moore has something that's kind of similar, and hers is the the path that you walk, and
Oh, yes, yes.
the labyrinth is the word I'm
In
looking for.
McCook's. In McCook's.
At McCook's, right. So this is kind of similar, but and you're supposed to do the same kind of thing. Every time you get to a spot, when you turn on the labyrinth, you're supposed to kind of reflect and breathe and walk in with a purpose. But the G, let's talk about G. G, well, it's an acronym. Grace is an acronym, so each letter stands for a word.
Yes.
And the first word is grateful.
Yes, gratitude. So you take the pandemic, for instance. Even though life is really hard right now, because it is. We've all had losses this year in one way or another. So even though life is really hard right now, what can I be grateful for? What is one thing? If you can only think of one thing, what can you be grateful for?
For me personally?
Right now, today. No, I was putting it out there just for whoever happens to watch this.
No, for me personally, I have to tell you, I am so, oops, I hope I didn't touch my microphone. For me personally, I am so grateful because, not like it was a good thing, but it was. My daughter came home from Brooklyn with her family, and I've been able to be a part of my granddaughter's life on a weekly basis, whereas if she was still in Brooklyn, had the pandemic not occurred, I wouldn't have this strong, intimate relationship.
That's right. Yeah.
What about you? Can you think of something?
Oh, there's a few things for sure. It didn't feel like a good thing at the time for sure. And although it's just the opportunities that have opened up via Zoom, which at first I hated. And I now teach my yoga classes via Zoom.
Well, we talked about that last time when you were on the show.
For sure.
Yeah.
But just the other opportunities that I've had to join in that I would never have done before. So I've gone to or attended interviews with different authors and different seminars and different trainings and things that I would not have had access to otherwise.
You no longer feel the need to get in your car, jump in your car, drive for an hour sometimes to go to a webinar or a seminar. You can just do it basically wherever you are. Yeah, that's huge.
So that would be one thing. And I also wanted to point out too that on the main sign, there is an honorarium to the Brian Daigle Foundation that Anne runs, and Daigle runs locally, and I just admire her work so much with suicide prevention, suicide awareness, and it's a huge part of the community, and the trail kind of goes in with her. She's bringing hope
to the community.
And the Grace Trail is also bringing hope.
Nice,
to the community.
Nice. So then R, and it seems like the R is really important too. So the R is what you need to release. So what are some examples that maybe would go with the R?
Oh goodness. So are you carrying a heavy burden right now? Like, are you really worrying about something? Can you release some of that? Can you let go of some of that?
I like that, because I feel it in my neck sometimes, and then if I just stretch, I just crunched a little bit there when I stretched my neck. So just releasing that tension that we all build up as part of who we are.
Well, sometimes it could be, do you need to let go of a bad habit in your life or a toxic relationship, or it could apply to almost anything, to everyone, pretty much.
Well, and I think one thing with the pandemic too that I've noticed that I don't shop as much, and so I'm more creative. Like if I want to make something, I'll look at what's in my cupboard and think I could make something out of what we have, rather than thinking I will make the perfect meal.
Sure.
And sometimes
letting go of that perfection. It was the same with me the other night. I was doing something like cooking, and I thought, what, with all these leftovers, I should really boil all this up and make my, chicken stock or whatever. And I thought, oh God, it's a lot of work, It's like just the clean up the next day.
But how did it come out?
It didn't happen. I thought, what, I've done that before. I don't need to do it again. I just don't have the time for it right now, like the mental time. I thought, let it go. I can do it another time.
Right. So when you want to.
You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything right. That was that was my release.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah. The perfectionism has to go, right? Okay, so G, R, and then A. What is calling for acceptance?
Ooh. I guess we have to accept that we're in the middle of a pandemic and we just can't do the things that we're used to doing, or we have to find other ways around it, or just let it go for now. You know, we just have to accept that we can't control it.
I get these calls.
Yeah.
I love to travel, and I know you love to travel too, but the hospitality and Hilton's honor program, where I've been pretty much all over the world kind of thing. And I just think, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not planning to go anywhere.
Exactly.
So, you know, I'm just kind of having my own adventures in my house,
Yes.
reading, art.
And appreciating the smaller things, the little things that spark joy. You know, like nature, sitting and reading, or, you know, just connecting with people on a different level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. Yeah. I like to hike a lot, and I know that you like to get out there in the fresh air too, but just stopping and noticing the color of the sky sometimes, it can be that simple.
Yes, appreciating that present moment.
Nice. All right. And then, okay, so challenge. So what's a challenge? And that could be just getting up out of bed sometimes, right?
That is so true, actually, yes. Yeah, it can be. It's like, oh gosh, another day. Like, another day, just almost the same as the last day, except it isn't. And if you can choose to accept that challenge and go forward and bring some positivity into other people's lives or your own life. You know.
Living with a purpose. And
Yes.
And challenging yourself, I think, to be a better version of who you were yesterday, maybe even.
That's right, yeah. But a challenge could be taking on a new project that's new to you, or, like you say, just getting through the day, or a challenge. If you're sick, maybe that's your challenge, and you're working your way through that one step at a time.
Well, and just being a kind and gracious person, I think sometimes in a world where there's a lot of toxicity and negativity.
That is a challenge.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah. Be kinder than you want to be sometimes.
Yes.
Well, at least for me. And what can I embrace as possible? And that's kind of the far-reaching, like, what is possible? What is within my reach? What can I do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Embracing possibility. Yeah.
So this was a really nice article, and I was just so excited when this came in the paper today. And
Erica did such a good job with that.
Erica Moser, I really like her. I got to know her a little bit.
Yeah.
And so this is down at Bridebrook Park, which is
at Bridebrook.
Right at Bridebrook, right? And there's also the library trail. Is this interwoven between them? Is that how it's set up? Okay.
Yes, it is. It fits in really well because, although having said that, I was going to say that there's something for everyone, the children and the adults, but actually children can get the grace concept. It's such a simple concept that very young kids can get the idea too. And I'm sure they would find it helpful also.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about
Yeah.
understanding who you are and where you are in this world and what your purpose is, and taking
right.
that. So that's beautiful. So I'm so excited to have that. And so I looked up a little bit, and you said that this Anne Barry Joles is up in Plymouth, Massachusetts,
Yes.
which is right on the water. It's a really
That's right. So
beautiful spot.
that's where she created the very first Grace Trail, and her book explains like the whole story behind that, how that came to happen.
That would be a great book discussion group. And
It would actually, yeah. I want to reread it, so yeah.
we should get a bunch of people and read it, and then do a Zoom discussion on it. I think we could build
That
up a
would be
community.
excellent. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And you have a Facebook page. What's your Facebook page?
East EL Grace
EL
Trail.
Grace Trail.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's nice and short. And Facebook, and we want people to go on your Facebook page, like it and share it.
Yes, please. Yeah, and just positive stories, pictures from your walk on the Grace Trail, any stories that you have, and I would encourage people too I know there's a group on Facebook somewhere like East Lyme Rocks, I think. But if you're creative and you like to paint messages of hope on rocks, then leave some by the Grace Trail signs.
I love that.
To encourage other people. That's what Anne does on her original Grace Trail, and I really like that idea. Sometimes just that tiny simple word on a stone
like
could
hope.
just
or
Yeah.
peace or
Could
love.
just, maybe that would just lift someone's spirits and make their day a little better.
My husband and I were hiking on Sunday, and I looked down and saw an orange rock that was painted, and it said, "Disarm hate." So I took a picture of that.
I saw that.
Oh, yeah, so there you go. So it's just that kind of thing. But so we'll have to get some rocks and paint them and put them out there. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So you brought some cards too, Rachel. Should we play a game of
Sure,
cards?
let's play a game of cards. So these cards were created by Anne, the creator of the Grace Trail. And actually either her or a member of her family took every single one of these pictures with just the iPhone. So they're divided into the 5 different categories, the GRACE,
Sure.
with encouraging messages, inspiring, challenging messages on the back. So yeah, I used to use these when I did in-person yoga classes. I would put one on everyone's chair, because I teach chair yoga, and they would just come and find a message, and they would love these cards. So go ahead.
It's beautiful photography for one thing. So do you want me to ask you, or do you want to ask me?
I don't know. You go for it.
Okay. So who inspires me? I imagine this person could be alive, or maybe someone who's passed. Because I always think about my mother, because my mother was a very inspirational woman, and you know, you've heard the story, I'm sure. She was a widow at 37 years old with 9 children, and then raised us all by herself. We all went to college. She went back to work when my little brother started kindergarten. So her just determination and tenacity, she was all of 5'2" and weighed 110 pounds when she was heavy, kind of thing, and so tiny and strong.
Excellent.
Yeah, what about you?
That's a challenge for sure. Who inspires me? Oh gosh. Lots of people inspire me. It's hard to think of one off the bat. I would say one of my superheroes long past would be Mother Teresa.
Oh, yes, yes.
Showing grace and compassion. She doesn't really need any explanation.
No, but she always said it was small things. It was always about the little things. It didn't have to be something grand that you did. Like, I mean, you did something really grand right here, I think. So you've really left a beautiful legacy and a beautiful mark. But with Mother Teresa, I think it was just maybe serving food to somebody who was hungry.
Yeah.
And
holding their hand. Yeah.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or holding the door open for somebody.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So this is really nice. So it gets deeper, huh?
Oh.
Imagine that person appears, holding out a hand to me. So wow, if I had my mother here, or we had Mother Teresa, that would be quite a crowd. What would they encourage me to embrace?
Oh gosh.
That's like a whole nother level, isn't it?
It is, yeah, with many different answers, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to think about that though, and to not just skip over it, but to take that and to consider it.
Yeah. And how is this about courage? Wow, because you're really having to take a stretch into something that's deeper. And
that's right. I mean, Mother Teresa overcame so much just to do the work that she did. And she wasn't afraid. She was very gentle and kind, but she wasn't afraid to speak up.
And I think of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and how
oh gosh, yes. Now there's another hero.
How tiny she was, but I desist, right? And what does this person see in me that I have trouble seeing? Sometimes I think we don't see our own talent, so we don't give ourselves enough credit.
Yeah. And I think I found that a little with so many people. I was overwhelmed by how many people were so positive about this Grace Trail. And so many people messaged me or emailed me saying, "I'm so proud of you." And I thought, but I didn't feel like I did that much, but I guess I did.
Yeah.
So it's easy to underestimate yourself.
Well, when did this whole project get started? When did you come up with this idea? When did you actually meet with Anne? And
well, I read her book about 2 years ago, and after reading the book, I thought, it would be so cool to have a Grace Trail in East Lyme. And I thought, I wonder if we could do that, how we could do that. So I had looked at her website. I approached the town, first of all, to see if it was even possible. And at first we were looking at McCook's, but actually that would have been a great spot, but it's not accessible to everyone because it's quite hilly. So this is much better for every age group because most people could manage to walk that distance, or at least some of it.
Is it handicap accessible?
I believe you could get a wheelchair in there. Yeah, I think you can.
I would think so, because I've been on it, and it seems pretty smooth and pretty flat, and not too much of an incline at all that I can
and also
remember.
dogs can go there, whereas they can't go to McCook's, certainly not during the summer season. So, yeah, at least I think that's right.
So 2 years, and then what was the first step? You went and talked to Town Hall.
Yes, and they thought it would be a good idea. I spoke to the first selectman. He said, yep, go and contact Parks and Rec. So I did that and went to a couple of meetings. Then I also, I think before that I had also contacted Anne, and I realized it was a big deal to say, hey, can I, copy your idea? But because it's a big deal, it's her idea, her livelihood. And she was very gracious when she realized I wasn't after making any money. I just wanted this for the town. And she was wonderful, very helpful. She helped with all the files.
So
it's a registered trademark and copyrighted. So yeah, it would be very cool to see these grace trails popping up like all over Connecticut, all over the States. I mean, maybe even further, because such a simple concept, but so effective.
I love that.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice, I think, to have different things going on too, where almost you could have like a wall, like a word wall, where people could write messages to each other, like when people are going hiking, just, to leave words of inspiration, ideas of inspiration. In a little library, it would be kind of fun to have a little library by it, like books of hope, books of faith, books of encouragement.
Yes, like the little libraries. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yes, I'm not creative enough to actually make one of those, but
no.
But whoever those people that can, if they would love to build one, and and obviously we'd need to get permission to put it in there. But yeah.
Nice. Okay, so then you met with Mr. Nickerson and then Mr. Putnam, and then what was the next step?
Working it through with Anne, getting explaining the concept to the committee. I don't remember which committee it was, Parks and Rec committee, I guess. And showing them, explaining what it was, and I got the approval, and then we went on with Anne to create the actual files for the signs and get the wording right, and
the font, is the font the same as what she has? Is that?
It's actually a little different. It's going to, because it's more, it fitted in more with the colours. I thought fitted in well because it's outside. I didn't want it to be like too bright and offensive. It needed to blend in.
Are there grace trails that are inside different buildings and things?
I'm not sure about that.
That would be a fun thing to do, like when you're walking through like a public building or even a school where you have like a grace.
Oh yes, I mean she does have like a pop-up one that you can buy like in a little kit. So you can laminate those, and I actually have one at home. Thinking of donating it to a school or something, so if anyone's interested and can use it, that would be great.
I'd love that for the Board of Education. I can bring that up if you'd be interested in doing that. That would be great.
And I have one actually at the old Saybrook Senior Centre, a pop-up one. We had a little, like the sign in lots of different 5 different potted plants around the entrance hall.
I love that.
And people love that too. And of course, no one's seeing them right now because of COVID, but eventually we will get back there and people can do an indoor grace trail. So this is actually the first licensed grace trail from working with Anne.
Nice.
But it is such a simple concept.
Well, I'm glad. Let's do another card. We only have a few minutes left. So
I mean, actually, you could make your own with some rocks and have one in your own backyard.
That's really a nice idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and gosh, this is a hard one.
Oh, you must be up for the challenge.
Oh, goodness, gratitude. This is really hard, like talking about yourself. What are 3 things I value about myself? Okay, I can be fun.
Very fun. And you're very creative.
Yeah, thank you. I
you're
don't
very
see that in
generous,
myself.
too.
Yes, I guess generous and determined.
Yes.
So if I decide I'm going to do something, I
Don't
will,
get in the way.
No, exactly. I was like, it's like when my husband, I'll say, I've been thinking, or I have an idea. And it's like, oh no. So, okay. Oh, how are they gifts to myself and to others? I guess that kind of speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
What do I need to say to myself that encourages these things to show up more often? I think to not underestimate the little things, the little acts, and that actually I'm stronger than I think. Do you want to do the same one or a different one?
Let me do a different one. You pick one out for me. You know what? I like these rocks, though. I just want to show these rocks.
Oh, those are
Look how pretty
great. These are just the...
I don't know if you can see on the screen. So they have words like hope, gratitude, content, seek awe, serenity, yes. Okay. And this is a morning glory. I love morning glory, so I hope this is good. Gratitude. I have gratitude, too. I want my life to be more about what is going right than what's going wrong.
That's a good one for now, for sure.
What new story do I want to begin? Well, you know, I just ran for office and won East Lyme, but lost the election by 200 votes. So my new story is I want to be more involved doing what I was doing, listening to people, being their voices, articulating their needs, and being their strong voice wherever I am. What old story do I need to stop telling? I think.
Oh, it can go deep, these questions.
You know, just some of the stuff that was a little bit rough, I don't really need to tell it because I think
No.
I'm much stronger and better than and all of those.
No, you're great. Yeah.
All those experiences. And what is the first step that I can take in this new chapter? You know what? I really want to write about my experiences and my stories and to share that with people and just focusing every day 2 hours just to get the time to do that writing and to make that possible. Because I think it's so nice to be able to learn from other people rather than having to learn those experiences all the time by yourself.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Do we have time for another one? We can do it together, maybe.
Okay. Let's just take the top one.
I love these pictures, too.
What's going right in my life and my work?
Oh, wow.
How can I make more of that happen? How can I savor this more often? And what am I willing to try?
Well, don't you know what I am finding with these is this, like, couldn't you stave off depression if you are really focusing on the positive, what you're grateful for? And my mother,
definitely.
My mother, every day when she prayed, she said, "Make me truly grateful." You know, and she suffered a lot. So just like saying, "I am grateful. I am grateful for the body I have, for the brains I have, for the health I have," and you don't know when you're not going to have any of those things.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. So those are, gratitude, an attitude of gratitude.
That's right. And it helps to write those things down too, like have a little journal that you keep these things in.
That's a good idea.
It is. I'm not very good at doing it, but it is a good idea.
Yeah. I'm not good at it either. I know. I'm on to the next thing too quickly. But I find when I'm cooking sometimes I can really kind of focus on what is good and what is right and just enjoying the process of. I love to bake bread too, just the baking and the kneading and
it's
bringing
very
that
therapeutic.
all together. Yes.